accept that a budget is more than a statement of annual revenues and expenditure. In current circumstances, the budget speech must lay out a narrative that addresses the major challenges outlined in the economic survey released a few days ago. I'm not sure if the government and/or the finance minister had read the economic survey 25-26. If they had, it appears that they have decided to discard it completely and fall back on their favorite pastime of throwing words, usually acronyms, at the people. I can count at least 10 challenges identified by the economic survey and many acknowledged knowledgeable experts. 1. The penal tariffs imposed by the United States have created stress for manufacturers, especially exporters. 2. Protracted trade conflicts that will weigh on investment. 3. The growing trade deficit, especially with China. 4. The low gross fixed capital formation, approximately 30%, and the reluctance of the private sector to invest it. 5. The uncertain outlook for flow of FDI into India and the persistent outflow of FPI for the last several months. 6. The agonizingly slow pace of fiscal consolidation and the continued high fiscal deficit and revenue deficit, contrary to the FRBM. 7. The persistent gap between officially announced inflation numbers and the ground reality in terms of bills for household expenditure, education, healthcare, and transport. 8. The closure of lakhs of MSMEs and the struggle to survive of the remaining MSMEs. 9. The precarious employment situation, especially youth unemployment. 10. Growing urbanization and the deteriorating infrastructure in urban areas, municipalities, and corporations. Now, there are many more. For example, the depreciation of the rupee. None of this was addressed by the finance minister today. None, not one of the challenges were addressed by the finance minister. It was therefore not surprising that the applause was perfunctory and most of the audience tuned out in quick time. In fact, I noticed that the telecast by Sansad TV switched off a few times. Even by an accountant's standards, it was a poor account of the management of the finances in 2025-26. Revenue receipts were shot by rupees 78,086 crore. Total expenditure was shot by rupees 1,503 crore. Revenue expenditure was shot by rupees 75,168 crore, and capital expenditure was cut by 1,44,376 crore.